Hello, my name is Carrie Lentz, and I'm the District Vice President for Edmonton East at TD Canada Trust. TD is very proud to sponsor Eric's New Women's chapter of the Career Mentorship Program. This program will feature a series of modules designed with women in mind for professional growth and personal wellness. Please check back each month for new and exciting installments. Enjoy!
The hidden job market, we like to use an analogy a little bit like the iceberg, like an iceberg. So, for example, when you see an iceberg, what you see is the iceberg, and those are jobs that are typically like advertised that people are aware of. So you will see those jobs that are advertised, for example, on websites like Indeed or maybe on LinkedIn. But it's actually what's underneath that iceberg, which is the majority of jobs are actually underneath the iceberg, so under the water, which is what we call the hidden job market. So what the hidden job market is those are jobs that need to be filled that might not yet be posted publicly for people to view. So the reason why we call it the hidden job market is because it is hidden, it's underneath, and so it's not out in the open yet. But they are jobs that need to be filled. And the reason why they're hidden is because they tend to be those jobs where, for example, a company knows that they have somebody leaving a specific position, or maybe due to growth, they have a new job that they need to fill. And so it takes some time from the moment that they know that there's a vacancy to when they actually publicly post a job on a website. So that amount of time actually is when we call kind of that hidden job market. So employers, what they prefer to do is they tend to prefer to fill a job before they have to go through the typical recruitment process of when a job is publicly posted. So the hidden job market is a great opportunity for job seekers when they're looking for work to know about positions before they're posted publicly and have those connections or have contacts with the people that are looking to hire, because employers don't want to have to post the position if they don't need to, because it takes a lot of time, it takes money. When a job is unfilled, other people might need to fill in to do that work. So the sooner that an employer can actually fill the position, the better it is for the employer, but also the better it is for job seekers to kind of tap into this hidden job market. It is very important to kind of tap into that hidden job market because of the numbers may vary depending on what kind of studies that you read, but it could be anywhere from, for example, like 70 to 85% of jobs are filled through the hidden job market. So it is really important actually to kind of tap into that. And you're probably asking, wondering, how do I tap into this hidden job market? So we often use the importance of networking. We talk about networking quite a bit. Networking is a real purposeful act where you are just building upon your connections and letting people know that you're looking for employment. So the first thing is that's really important in terms of trying to tap into that hidden job market is really working on networking and being very purposeful of who you're letting know that you're looking for work. So I think for people, if they're new to a city or maybe even like new to a country, they often say to me, well, how can I build my network if I don't know anybody, in my community or in my city? And I know that networking may not be something that people have experience with in the past, or is something that may come it's not something that is natural for everybody. I think that also with, people have different personality types, and some people might be a little bit more quiet or maybe, shy or introverted. So I just wanted to, when you're talking about reaching out to people, it's not going to be something that everybody is comfortable doing. So sometimes when I talk about networking, it doesn't have to be this this skill that you have, that you need to talk to everybody and be really friendly to everybody, and put yourself out there where it's very uncomfortable for you. Sometimes people are networking they're not even knowing that they are. They're not knowing that they're building their connection, but they're just talking to maybe a friend or maybe a colleague or a former colleague, or maybe somebody, like as I mentioned, in the community. So your child's school, at the library, even grocery store. And you're just having conversations with people, but it is purposeful. So you're having conversations, but you're also thinking about, maybe this person knows somebody that can help me with my job search, or maybe this person works somewhere that where they're hiring and there's a position that they're looking to fill. So I think with networking it doesn't have to be something that's really scary. It could just be something that you think about, who do I know that I interact with, maybe on a regular basis, or people that I just meet in community. And what is it that, I feel comfortable talking to them about and sharing. And I think when you're practicing and having those conversations and doing it over time, you'll become more comfortable, and you'll probably become maybe more effective at it. And it doesn't become so scary or daunting. But all of those are actually like you building your connections, you expanding on, who you know, and not being afraid to, ask people if there's a way, if you can continue to have those conversations. So asking people if you can, either get their cell phone number or their phone number or their email address, so that you can continue to have conversations with them or keep in touch with them for when they know of opportunities that come up, and that they can, reach out to you, or you can reach out to them to follow up in the future. So I really wanted to let people know that networking doesn't have to be something that's, something that's really specific where you have to go to an event to do it. Building your connections could be just, within your day-to-day of how can you do that, either in a virtual world, using the tools that you have. It could even just be, putting on Facebook that you're looking for work, and you don't know who, might be hiring, or who might know somebody that's hiring, or who might know somebody that they want to connect you with. So there's lots of ways, I think, to build that network, to try to tap into that hidden job market. A little bit about my background is that I've been working in the voluntary sector or the nonprofit sector for many years, and also engaging and speaking with newcomers to Canada and immigrants, and talking about the importance of volunteering. I totally can understand that when people come here, they're very excited to contribute to the job market, and they want to be working in their profession right away, which I think is great. And I encourage people to, look at avenues and look at ways to be finding work in their profession. But sometimes if that takes a little bit of time, or also the market might not have those specific positions. A lot of those jobs people might not be hiring for that specific job at this time. Another great way to, I think, develop your network and meet new people, also learn about maybe just in terms of, that Canadian workplace culture, is through volunteering or through working maybe in a part-time position as well. I find that with volunteering, it's a great opportunity to not only give back to the community, but it's this great opportunity of you meeting a lot of different people who do maybe some different type of positions, and learning about what their positions are. And maybe some of the work that they're doing is aligned to the work that you want to be doing and the job that you want. So you now have access to an individual that maybe is working in that job that you want to do. And you can, tap into kind of their expertise or knowledge about working in Canada in that position. For example, if it was anything related to like a technical position that you have, just even in terms of the technical words that they might use in their job, right? So there's an opportunity, I think, for learning from individuals that you might be volunteering with. That doesn't mean that it'll be, that people can volunteer in technical positions. But what it does mean is that when you're looking at volunteering, I tell people to look at things that are meaningful to you, because there's so many places that you can volunteer in. You can volunteer in your cultural community. You can volunteer in the community that you live in. You can volunteer for a specific cause that's important to you. So there's all these different options in terms of where you could, put forward your time. And I do know that time is valuable. So I often tell people kind of research what it is that is important to you. What are the skills and knowledge that you want to gain from a volunteer opportunity? Who are the people that you're going to be interacting with? And can they somehow, play a part and support you or influence you with your job search? So I think all of those things are very important to consider when you're looking at volunteering, and looking at also, is there an opportunity that possibly you could volunteer for a place that is a place that you want to work for? Because that's another great way to kind of get people to know you and your abilities and your skills, and also for you to get to know that workplace and the people that you would be working with as well. I'll say another perk about volunteering is that sometimes we talk about like reference checks and references. So some employers, they may prefer to talk to people if there's somebody that's a local reference of yours. I find that employers are open to references that may not reside in Canada, but sometimes it's also nice to have a reference that is in the city that you live in and can speak a little bit about your work, even though it's on a voluntary basis. So I think that's another perk of volunteering as well. Certainly, the impacts of the pandemic and how we have been doing things has shifted and changed. Maybe I'll just also add, when you're talking about volunteering, many times in the past, it has been in-person volunteering, and now that's shifted to a virtual volunteering. And there's ways that you can contribute, even, for example, on like board of directors for nonprofit organizations. Those are also great ways to utilize your skills. But I'm finding that, now we have so many tools where we can connect online and virtually to people, where we could still see each other and engage, have conversation and meaningful experiences, is that really looking at how we can use the technology and online resources that we have to still contribute, as a volunteer, but also talking about how can we access this hidden job market. I'm going to talk a little bit about a website called LinkedIn. If you're not familiar with LinkedIn, but you might be familiar with, for example, Facebook. Facebook is an opportunity where you can connect with, typically, say, your friends and families, and share information, share resources, share experiences, share photos. And LinkedIn is another website and another tool that we use that's more on the professional networking side. So it is probably one of the top websites that people can use if they're a job seeker and looking for work, but also that employers can use as well to connect with job seekers. So I strongly encourage people to kind of use LinkedIn, whether it be, pandemic times or not. But I think the importance of LinkedIn and the emphasis that we have been using, probably LinkedIn more, because we have had very limited face-to-face interactions. So we haven't had opportunities to go to, job fairs to connect with like hundreds or thousands of people. Some of those events have moved to virtual job fair events, which I have participated in as an employer, but it's still not quite the same, and the turnout is sometimes not as much as if you would have a face-to-face event. So we do use LinkedIn as a great resource and website where we do post our jobs. But when you're talking about the hidden job market, a great way to use LinkedIn is if you have a specific company or organization that you want to work for. And that's something that I advise people. When you're thinking about what type of work you want to do, also think about who are the employers that would pay you to do that type of work, and doing that research. And once you have that information, go on LinkedIn and see if they have a company page. Follow their company page. In LinkedIn, there's a search feature where you can actually look up, a company name, and maybe you want to find out who the HR manager is, or maybe who the direct supervisor would be of that position that you want to work in, which is what we would call the hiring manager if there was a vacancy. So you can go on LinkedIn and do a search to search the company name, and then you can search a title. So I've done this in the past to put a company name and then HR manager, and I actually have been fairly successful to find out who that individual is. Once you see, you can look at their profile, their public profile, and you can tend to actually be able to try to connect with them and then send a introductory message to those individuals. So I'm actually finding that in the last few years with the pandemic, I've actually had maybe more requests of people wanting to connect with me, and more people reach out to me as job seekers that want to just have a conversation with me about their job search, what it is that they're looking for. So even though I might not be hiring for a specific position right now, it's really important to kind of make those connections, because for example, when my clients have a position and I remember having a conversation with you and knowing what your experiences and qualifications were, I will tend to reach out to you right away if I know there's a job posting coming. So for me, if I know that there's a job posting coming on behalf of one of my clients, I will tend to actually reach out to people that I know that have that I think might be suitable and have some skills that are related to the qualifications, even before I get the job posting to post it. Because again, we want to fill those jobs as soon as possible. And we prefer as an employer not to delay or have the process take too long. So the more that you can connect with people on LinkedIn and send an introductory email, think about the questions that you want to ask and see if they have time to either meet with you for a virtual meeting or a short phone conversation to do what we call maybe an information interview. I think those just kind of broaden your ability to expand on your network. And then as job opportunities come up in that hidden job market, people will remember you and then reach out to you, or you can reach out to them when you see an opportunity or hear of an opportunity and you have that existing connection already.